Inspirational Creatives, episode 156. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here, and welcome to this short action episode of Inspirational Creatives. In this short action episode, I want to share with you some insights on how to make more money with your art. In episode 155, I spoke with money relationship coach Joan Sotkin, who shared with me how our emotions affect how much money we make. Now, if you've not already listened to that episode, don't worry, because I'm going to share with you the essence of what Joan had to offer. Having read her book, Build Your Money Muscle, which I highly recommend, I can share with you now that just listening to this episode won't be enough, but it may give you some insights and ideas you've not experienced before. If you'd like my cheat sheet to help you along as we move through this episode today, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/156, that's numerical 156, where you can download your own worksheet for free. So in episode 155, Joan shared with me how many artists and creative entrepreneurs don't realise that they're in business when they're trying to make money from their art.
I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is filled with creative people, lots of artists and healers, and it's one of the reasons I love being here, because I can do whatever I feel like doing. But they don't understand that they're also in business. And I have a website, NewMexicoNaturalHealing.com, that I built quite a while ago. And I built it. I wanted to help the healers get the word out. And it was amazing to me how many people who were healers, trying to make a living being healers, who had no idea that they were in business. And if you're in business, there are certain skills you have to have in order to build a business.
In order to build a business as a creative, Joan suggests that there are certain skills you have to have.
You have to understand advertising, marketing, money management, all of those things. And the people who do the best, the artists and the healers who do the best, are the ones who understand that. You can't just do your craft and say, well, look how talented I am. Won't the world just support me in being that? No. We live in a capitalistic society that has certain rules. And if you want to live in this society, you have to kind of know what those rules are.
According to Joan, you can't just do your craft. If you want to make money from your art, from your passion, there are certain rules to follow, particularly when it comes to business and marketing. In my chat with Joan, which you can find on inspirationalcreatives.com, just look for episode 155, I asked Joan this question. What are some of those rules in your experience?
Okay, first of all, you have to understand marketing. You have to know how to put out the sign and let people know who you are and what you do. You have to find the people who would possibly be attracted to what you do.
So first, you have to understand marketing. You have to help people find out who you are and explain to them what it is that you do. You might want to brainstorm with a friend or in your journal 3 ways you could learn more about marketing. You might want to think about what ways you could help people to find out who you are and what it is that you do. Ultimately, you will have to find the people that are most attracted to you and your work. But it may not be as difficult as you think to find them. You might want to think about who are you attracting already. Reflecting on who you attract could lead to some deep insights about who you already serve and resonate with. Who are the people that you feel most connected to?
It's like with music. If you play classical music, you're not going to try to tell what you do to people who like heavy metal. So you have to find the people who like classical music. You have to find your audience. And one of the amazing things that we have available to us today is the internet, where everything is. It's the theory of everything. The internet, there's a little bit of everything on the internet. And you just have to find the people with whom you feel connected. And you have to say, well, hi, this is who I am, and who are you? So it's about building relationships. If you're an artist, it's about building relationships with potential art buyers. You'll also have relationships with other artists. The core of business is relationships.
According to Joan, at the core of any business are relationships. As Joan suggests, it's about building relationships.
And one of the symbols of those relationships is money. Okay, do you see the relationship? You see how that works? And what I really look at is what are the emotions that we learn in early childhood that we are bringing to our business and that we're acting out through our business and through our money.
In episode 155, Joan described money as an energy force. How much money we make is directly related to our emotional energy. Money is a symbol or a measure of our relationships. Joan proposes that the emotions we experience in our early childhood have a direct impact on how we experience money in our businesses as adult creatives.
And for artists, there's a whole set of feelings that go with that. When I first got to Santa Fe, which is a place where people say things like, you can't make a living in Santa Fe. I love Santa Fe and I love my jobs. It's in New Mexico, which is one of the poorest states in America. And people are always talking about how it's hard to make a living. Well, when I got here, and I came to Santa Fe almost 20 years ago with $200 and whatever fit in my car, and that was the extent of my estate. And as I got to know people, I said to myself, why are there so many bright, creative people here and they can't make a living? And I realized that they didn't, as children, they didn't feel supported in who they were. And they were acting out that lack of support through what was happening through their so-called businesses. Remember, how you deal with money is how you deal with your relationship with yourself and others. And if you've got a lot of head trash going on, if you're, oh, I should have done this and I should have done that, and for creatives, you know how to be in a space of inspiration. You know how to sit in front of a canvas and just let it happen. You know how to let a song come out. I'm very creative in business. When I sit down in front of the computer, I do it without an agenda and I just wait for my instructions every day. So you know how to be in that inspirational space. But there's this part of you that is afraid of not being supported. You have an expectation of not being supported because that was your experience as a child. And one of the things that is at the core of our being is our need for touch and connection. And that longing that we have for money has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the longing that we feel because we didn't get the kind of connection and touch we needed as children.
Joan suggests that as artists, if we're struggling with money, in each of us there is a part of us that feels we're not being supported. How we were treated as children has a large effect on our relationships to ourselves, with others, and with money. Joan relates this to our need for touch and connection and how much we experience that as children. In episode 155, I asked Joan this question. It sounds very deep-rooted. So how did one go about starting to perhaps resolve their relationships with themselves and with money in your experience in the work that you do?
Well, first of all, you have to begin to recognize what's going on internally. So that if, and for creatives, this is actually a little easier because you're more in touch with your inner world than most people are. But you may not have been taught how to get in touch with your emotions and express them. Now, for a lot of people, their creation is their expression of their emotions. But there's a place where you actually have to embrace those emotions within yourself and make them okay. The pain is okay. The feeling of confusion is okay. That, to allow yourself to Feel your feelings, not just in your creation, but within yourself. To be able to sit with yourself and say, there's something going on inside of myself that's uncomfortable.
As creatives, we tend to be sensitive to our emotions. When it comes to business, Joan suggests it's a case of embracing these emotions and know that it's okay.
Money is a great way to get in touch with your feelings. So if you're craving money or you're saying, oh, I wish I had more money, and you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, it's never about money. It's always about people. What am I really feeling? And what you're feeling is a longing. And then you say to yourself, well, what is this longing? Where did that come from? And it often goes back to when you were in touch as a child. The system that I use is recognize, release, and replace.
Money is a great way to get in touch with our feelings. Joan explained in episode 155 that the system she uses is recognize, release, and replace.
Recognize what you're feeling and if possible, where it came from. Whatever you're feeling today is something you felt as a child. And when you recognize that the anger, the darkness, the whatever that is, came from the way you were treated as a child. And the release comes either through your creation or by being able to say out loud, I feel so disappointed. I feel so lonely. I feel so angry. I feel so deprived. To be able to say that out loud and then to say to yourself, and here's the key, what would I rather be feeling? And rather be feeling, and do I know that feeling, or do I have to teach myself how to feel that?
What would you rather be feeling? It may be hard to comprehend, but there may be feelings that we haven't experienced yet, and these may be feelings we have to teach ourselves, particularly when it comes to relationships, money, wealth, and prosperity. To learn more, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com and check out episode 155, where Joan shares how she also works with artists who experience darker emotions. Remember, if you're looking to make more money with your art, work or craft, Joan suggests it's never about money. It's about energy. It's about emotions. It's about relationships. It's about your relationships to yourself and to others. Don't forget you can download your free accompanying worksheet to this episode by heading on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/156. To learn more about Joan, her book, Build Your Money Muscle, and her podcast, The Prosperity Show, head on over to joansotkin.com. That's JOANSOTKIN.com. You'll also find the links in the episode show notes. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes, where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there.